In today's news, Malone to Fraser, it's only you, you're an independent. Dr. Wheatley addresses challenges to his leadership. Cable and Wireless Charitable Foundation celebrates 5 years of commitment to the Caribbean region. The absence of robust policies within the education sector are the root to several of the issues, says Dr. Sandy Harrigan Underhill, and NHI needs more than just a tweak. The debt between 15 to 20 million, says Dr. Natalia Wheatley.
For the last several years, I have had the distinct pleasure of getting to know Mrs. Lorna Smith OBE on both a personal and professional level. She's my mentor and she's my friend, and I owe so much of who I am, especially professionally, to her. Her work ethic, her determination, and her passion have rubbed off on me, and because of that, I have been able to succeed in many aspects of my life. Being a young professional in the BVI, I do think it's always special to have someone who will put you in the important rooms and allow you to learn and to grow, allow you to be the best version of yourself. She was instrumental in helping me to be confident in my abilities. She has a thing where she says that I inspire her, but I don't think she understands how much she inspires me on a daily basis. She cares, she understands, she's passionate, and she listens. Her care, her passion, and her love of all that she does are just a few of the reasons I think that you should vote for her. We are at a time in the BVI where we need doers and not just talkers. I can vouch for Lorna Smith because she is a doer and she will always fight to ensure that the BVI gets the very best. She's someone we need right now, and I am telling you here today, she can do it. On 24th April 2023, I will be voting for Lorna Smith. And you should too.
Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of 284 News. It is Friday, April 14th, 2023. I'm Ron Grant, bringing you the latest out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Thank you so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast on the local scene, it's only you, you're an independent, said Territorial At-Large Representative Carvin Malone. That as he mocked the participation of the Progressive United Chairman, District 3 Representative, the Honorable Julian Fraser, in a recent party leaders' debate.
You can't trade your premier in for someone who even cannot join a team. You can't join a team today. Why would you want to join a team tomorrow? What are you doing, hedging your bets? This is no time for playing around. I have 3 or 4 teams. I mean, we have a complete 13, but what I'm saying is that what about this debate I had the other day? You have a debate with party leaders. Virgin Islands Party, National Democratic Party, Progressive Virgin Islands Movement, is it? And PU. One member can make up a team, and you come into a leadership meeting, and it's only you, you're independent. You're an independent. You can't come to no party meeting with leadership, and you only leading yourself, you are an independent. Wait until you get the second member in, and then you'll be invited to a party leaders meeting.
Malone also challenged the recent alliance of Fraser's Progressive United with the Progressive Virgin Islands movement and warned that the two parties are seeking to work alongside the National Democratic Party in pursuit of emerging with a coalition government. He questioned how such an alliance would work in the absence of a clear consensus of who is expected to lead in such an event.
When in the world is Fraser going to work with NDP 1, NDP 2, or any NDP? When is it going to happen? And this is what they're going to bring forward to you. You have a party with about 4 leaders still fighting for who will lead. You have a party with 4 leaders and they're still trying to actually figure out who's going to lead.
Malone has alleged that despite promising to act jointly in the interest of Virgin Islanders, the parties are incohesive. he has questioned what kind of stability such leadership would bring to the territory. Malone spoke at a recent event held as Party Premier and Chairman Dr. the Honorable Natalia D. Wheatley campaigned for re-election within the 7th District.
The latest aspirant to it, a lady I love. But the fact is that if you're going to have a party with 4 leaders and none of them comfortable with what was settled on, how cohesive could that be? In order for us to get through what we are faced with, you have to have cohesive leadership. It is a vital and important ingredient, and somebody has to tell the story. Somebody has to say it.
Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia D. Wheatley recently addressed criticisms on his rise to leadership within the Virgin Islands Party and the Virgin Islands holistically, stating that God makes no mistakes, while acknowledging that some have labeled him, and I quote, an accidental premier. He spoke on Tweet4 Media's Just for the Record. According to Wheatley, it was very leadership skills that he has utilized during the last 10 months as premier that has led to his appointment as deputy premier of the Virgin Islands Party government.
Persons speak about the circumstances upon which I became premier. Well, that's why I was selected as the deputy premier. Because when you select a deputy premier, you have to select a deputy premier who could potentially be the premier at any time. And I was selected as deputy premier because of the skills that I have, the qualities that I have to bear. Some persons have used the opportunity and called me an accidental premier. But I believe very firmly in God, and I don't think that God makes any mistakes. I had a friend of mine, a cousin of mine, who's a preacher in the church, and he said about 12 years ago that he saw a vision that I became the premier. And at that time, I couldn't see how it could happen, you know? And I think no one's really saw it happening over the 4-year period. But I thank God that I had the opportunity to step up to the plate for the people of the Virgin Islands when they needed me most.
He believes that his detractors need only look at what he managed to accomplish in the brief time for evidence of his demonstrations of strong leadership. When asked if looking back at the past 10 months he would have done anything differently, Wheatley had this to say.
If you go through 4 years and you can't look at anything that you could have done differently, you're not introspective enough. I'm constantly seeking ways to learn and to improve. I'm my own worst critic. Of course, I wish we would have been able to communicate better with the people of the Virgin Islands. When the whole COI report was released and we were threatened with the suspension of the Constitution, to explain to persons exactly what was taking place. I put my full focus in negotiations with the United Kingdom and trying to prevent the suspension of the Constitution. But of course, in these instances, you have to make sure you dialogue well with the people.
Wheatley said that a priority of the next government, should he be elected to continue to lead the Virgin Islands, will be to improve public relations and place an increased focus on having Virgin Islanders informed and engaged in decisions made on their behalf. Wheatley's full interview is of course available on tweet4media.com and Tweet4Media on YouTube, as well as his interview and other candidates. Viewers, up next, we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
This is your Virgin Islands Party District 1 candidate, Dr. Carl Dawson. I am here at the site of the Abraham Leonard Community Center in Carrot Bay. As I see it, community centers are central to life in communities. It's a place where people can meet. It's a place where people can interact. I also see community centers as a place of learning. It's an opportunity space for individuals to learn about culture, for persons to be guided with respect to their health, for young business persons to learn about business practices or any other thing that might seek to help and develop individuals in the community. So my aim is to restore the Abraham Leonard Community Center, which was damaged during Hurricane Irma, and also to ensure that there are programs in place that seek to develop each and every individual. I am Carl Dawson, working for everyone, your candidate for District 1.
Back, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us. Continuing on the local scene, Director of the H. Lavely Stout Community Colleges Institute of Education, Dr. Sandy Harrigan Underhill, believes there is an absence of robust policies within the BVI's education system, which has resulted in a number of existing issues in schools across the territory to date. Dr. Harrigan Underhill, who is contesting the upcoming general elections as the National Democratic Party's District 4 candidate, made the comment while appearing on Tweet 4 Media's Just for the Record election series program. Now, she emphasized the need for more robust policies within the sector, an area she said she will seek to address if elected into office.
Policies are what provides a roadmap and guidance in any arena, but education is built on policies. Policies to attract, recruit, retain and deploy teachers, policies that speak to certification, policies that sets out the standards for training and teacher preparation, but most importantly, policies that align that training with remuneration. We can't continue to talk about training and the need for advancement and the need for proper preparation in the absence of a simultaneous discussion that speaks to adequately remunerating our educators for the hard work that they do. So these are the kind of things that stand out to me first and foremost. Bridging the gap between.
The former educator also spoke on the need to implement policies that bridge the gap between the different phases of education and the sector, which she said would link a steady progression from the preschool level straight to college level.
Between the various levels of education. Early childhood, for example, is an area in education that is almost like a standalone because of the independent persons who own these private early childhood institutions. Yes, there are certain regulations, but there's no proper formal linkages that says, or mandates, I should say, for lack of a better word, to mandate the way in which these institutions operate, to ensure that the curriculum, for example, is linked, clearly linked to the next level, which is primary. And then primary is clearly linked to secondary. And then secondary is clearly linked to tertiary. I believe more work needs to be done so that we can have a more cohesive education system in regards to the curriculum and the transfer from one level to the next. Those are the kind of things that in education stand out most to me.
Dr. Underhill, who is also a former principal at the now Elmore Stout High School, also took time to address the policy of the additional school year, which was discontinued from being a mandatory requirement following backlash from several parents. She said more needed to be done by the Ministry of Education to market the additional year and pointed to the outstanding results of the BVI students during the Caribbean Secondary Education Certifications exams following directly after its implementation as proof of the effectiveness of this policy.
The additional year, like any other new initiative, is not without flaw. It has its issues, but I believe more needed to be done to market the additional year to the public, for the public to understand. For example, the 2 years right after Hurricanes Irma and Maria, where this country would see for the first time place first in CSEC and CXC in the region. I want to say 2016-2017 school year and 2017-2018 school years. The 2 years directly following the worst crisis in the BVI, where the education system and other systems were on their knees in terms of lack of resources. The BVI saw itself rising to first place level, first place status in CSEC. These things are directly connected to additional year. And so it grieves my heart as someone who was there as a principal, who would be part of pushing this initiative forward, that persons in our community don't understand the magnitude of the value of the additional year. So I agree.
For the full interview with Dr. Underhill, Harrigan Underhill that is, visit our website. Honoree for this year's Virgin Gorda Easter Festival, Dawn FLAX won the grand prize of $1,000 for her well-designed hat in the 2022 Ralph T. O'Neill Easter Hat Parade. Premier Dr. The Honorable Natalia D. Wheatley says the national health insurance needs much more than just a few adjustments as the insurance scheme continues to burden the government's purse, with a debt surpassing more than $15 million. Premier Wheatley, at the time of Making the statement was responding to a question posed during a debate at the H. Livingston Community College, which was held for leaders of political parties in the upcoming general elections. Now, viewers, Dr. Wheatley believes a comprehensive solution is needed to address the NHI issue rather than a few tweaks.
This system needs more than just a tweak. Let's just not fool ourselves. The NHI needs more than just a tweak. Over the pandemic period, I believe this money that they say was wasted, about $11 million or so went into the NHI from the Social Security grant. Just last year, we had to allocate a further $10 million to the NHI on top of the $43 million that we gave them before. Did I get it? NHI is in the hole perhaps $15 to $20 million. NHI is failing. It needs more than a tweak.
Premier Wheatley, who is the chairman of the Virgin Islands Party, said a major challenge is the funding from NHI that goes into private healthcare providers when the system was designed to complement the services, specifically at the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital, which would have created a health ecosystem.
One of the biggest challenges you have with the NHI is, of course, most of the money from the NHI is going towards private healthcare providers. We built a huge hospital, very expensive to operate. The NHI was supposed to be able to go to funding that hospital, but most of that money is going into private healthcare providers, and I have no challenge with private healthcare providers. But what I would have suggested is we come up with a system that would have allowed persons who can afford it to be able to keep their private health insurance. Now you have a NHI and you're not sure when you go abroad whether it's going to work for you. You're not sure whether they're going to accept it, and your health is on the line.
It's not.
Because of course there's so many individuals out there who have not been able to use the NHI. Depending on where you go, it's almost worthless right now.
It's not true.
Which is sad, in my opinion.
Chairman of the National Democratic Party and the current Minister for Health, the Honorable MALONE Penn, said the creation of the NHI was the right thing to do. However, he said one of the main issues within the present NHI system was not making it a primary healthcare insurance. But unlike Premier Wheatley, he believes the system needs a few tweaks to allow it to be functioning as it was intended to.
There are some reports that have been done, particularly on the NHI and some of the challenges with NHI. The challenge that I have as a minister, when I read those reports, a lot of those reports are not based on the utilization data that we've had over the last 7 to 8 years. That's going to inform what some of the practical changes that we need to make with the system. You don't want to make changes to the system that's not rooted in terms of the utilization and the data that's driven by the system. So we've gone back, we've had, the board has gone to look at particularly the data set that's within the system to see where we could make the systemic tweaks to the system to make sure the system works and is practical for persons using the system, particularly in terms of where we are with NHI right now. There's an issue of paying into the system. There are businesses and persons who would want to pay, and some of the challenges with paying. If we have all the persons who are owing pay up into NHI will be in the black right now. So it says that despite the challenges that NHI has, it has a level of viability that we need to ensure that it survives.
Sharing similar sentiments to the chairman of the National Democratic Party, Penn, chairman of the Progressive Virgin Islands Movement, Ronnie W. Skelton, who said there are reports that have recommendations to tweak aspects of the system. He said that if elected, his PVIM government will assess these documents to determine the best way forward for NHI within the territory.
NHI now, and before I go to the problem, the government, we were supposed to do some tweaking to the NHI because one of the things the study came up with is that a lot of disease that are happening in the country was through the mouth. So everyone was encouraged to go to the dentist, get their first thing, some people for the first time in their lives. So that was done. That system was supposed to take about 2 years, which it did, and then we were fired. The new government came in, and they didn't tweak the system, and I understand there are some reports on the desk of the NHI to tweak the system. When we get there, we will look at them and see how the system can be tweaked.
Viewers, when we return, we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
4th District, make your vote count. Vote for someone that you can count on. Luce Hodge Smith. Sincere with honesty, but you know that already. Real representation from a hard-working woman. Right now, we need Luce Hodge Smith right now. Right now, we need Luce Hodge Smith right now. Vote for Luce on election day. 4th District ain't no other way. We tired complain, we been left out in the rain. We ain't got no time, no waste no more. Oh, 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 oh. Voting Luce Hodge Smith for sure. Oh, 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 oh. Got me singing like.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Continuing on the local scene, local basketball rising star Demoy Hodge has officially announced his entry into this year's National Basketball Association's draft. Hodge, who recently bid farewell to a successful college career following the exit of his Missouri Tigers in the second round of the NCAA tournament, made the announcement via his Instagram social media account on Wednesday, April 12th. In that post, he said, and I quote, "Finally, to all the Mizzou fans, I appreciate you for embracing me and supporting our team through it an all-time season. You guys are the best fans in the SEC, and I'm glad that I got to experience your energy this season." He continued by saying, and I quote, "Now it's on to the next chapter of my hoops career, and I'm excited to announce that I'm officially declaring for the 2023 NBA draft. Let's get it." Hodge also took the time to thank all who played a role in his basketball journey thus far. "First and foremost, I would like to thank my family for their continued love and support," he said, "of my goals and dreams. To Coach Gates and the entire Mizzou staff, what a season. Thank you for taking a chance on a graduate senior and preparing me for what's ahead. Your guidance," he said, "and coaching helped me to become a better player and person off the court. I'm just a kid from the British Virgin Islands, and this season, you put me in a position to attack and pursue my dreams with an unwavering confidence." Hodge broke a 30-year-old Missouri Tigers single-season steals record recently, surpassing the previous mark of 76 set by Lynn Hardy in 1986 to 1987. He ended his season with a record high of 91 steals. Hodge's seasons also include 56 assists at an average of 14.7 points per game. He also converted 40% from the three-point range. The Cable and Wireless Charitable Foundation is celebrating 5 years of partnership with local, regional, and international agencies and a total of $3.5 million in donations, providing digital access and supporting relief and recovery initiatives throughout the Caribbean region, with the release of its 2022 annual report. Commenting on the milestone, Smith, chair of the CWCF board, remarked that the foundation was established out of a response of natural disasters in 2017 and has since evolved from reacting to natural disasters like Hurricanes Maria and Irma and Dorian into a philanthropic organization that proactively expanding access, providing connectivity, and enhancing education for people we serve across this great region. Cementing this shift in focus, the foundation also marked its 5-year anniversary with the successful completion of a pilot program in Jamaica focused on digital education for individuals aged 16 to 60 years old. Under this program, over 2,000 Jamaicans successfully completed basic digital literacy training, with more than 830 going on to graduate with a certificate in digital and data literacy. Another 3,875 Jamaicans also attained certification in various professional courses. Both programs were funded by the CWCF and executed by collaboration with the Flow Foundation and its partners at the Mona School of Business and Management at the University of the West Indies for digital and data literacy, element, and one-on-one educational services for digital training and professional certification element. Now, Smits continued, and I quote, "We take tremendous pride in the evolution of the foundation and the opportunity to continue to serve the communities in which we live and work. After a 2-year hiatus due to the pandemic, 2022 saw the return of our popular Spring Golf Classic, raising some $450,000 to fund grants for digital services, online access, and learning tools for schools and community organizations across the region. To help fund future initiatives, the CWCF will invite scores of its partners and suppliers to participate in a racing experience on April 20th, 2023 in Miami, Florida. Guests will have the opportunity to meet and interact with NASCAR driver Stanton Barrett and participate in a ride-along with the professional driver. Now, viewers, the event is presented by One Caribbean Television and Genox and sponsored by several partners, including 3Cycle, Neo HG, the Amdax Network, Amdocs, Athena Global Advisors, Sierleon Technologies, the Servient Group, Cisco, EFL Global, Amida Globalant, Hawaii, Intedex Solutions, Intersoft, Latham and Watkins, Loroc Communications, Publix Group, Russell Reynolds, Westbell, and Wesco. Other sponsors include A&E Networks, Advantage Call, BBC, Gap Gemini, Deloitte, Future Brand, Intercomics, Smarsh, Macmillan Agency, McCann World Group, Misanji Corp, Perfect Vision, Prodopt, Redmond Software, and Visima and Z World. Remarking on the event, CWCF Director Noelle Smickle says she hopes to double the funds raised in 2022. And I quote, "We are grateful to have the ongoing support of our partners who are as passionate as we are about creating a positive impact in our communities, which is why we've set a fundraising target of $1 million in 2023 to do even more great work supporting the people of our great region." Viewers, that's it for today's News Roundup. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at 284media.com, and of course, like us on Facebook at 284media, as well as 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Ron Grant. Do have a beautiful rest of the day, a happy Friday, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Savings with hero bundles and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top up or what?